he is averaging over 22 points per game, and he quietly chips away there. He'll have 30 points a night, and it's just he's a quiet attacker in some instances. And so I definitely think exhaustion and fatigue is something that he's dealt with, and hopefully he'll be back to himself today.
Yeah, we will see in just a couple of moments as Daquan Cook and Maurice Bolden get set to take the tip-off here at the Meridian Center. A good crowd here. Thursday afternoon game. The tip-off goes straight to Stutz. He passes it off to Blazek, and we're underway. First quarter action, Windsor Express, Niagara River Lions. Their last matchup here at the Meridian Center. The River Lions took that one for their second win of the season, rather. As Lewis steps back, takes the jumper, that one doesn't go. Rebounded by Bolden.
So Adam Blazek starting at the point guard position tonight in replacement of Sam Zaglinski. And it looks like Marcus Lewis is starting at the 2 spot, and Clinton Springer-Williams back in the starting lineup at the small forward position.
Springer-Williams, one of those guys that's really bounced in and out of the starting rotation. Some days he'll come off the bench and make a difference. Other days he'll be an impact player as a starter. So really a good versatile player if you look at a guy like Springer-Williams.
Great turnover there for the Niagara River Lions.
Lewis goes down low for Stutz, pump fakes. Now he puts it up, but he's blocked by Bolden, but he will go to the line for 2.
You know, this will be interesting. Logan Stutz started the season shooting only about 60% from the free throw line, but in the last 4 games that he played, he's been well over 90%. We'll have to see if that continues tonight.
You got to think maybe obviously just a lot of practice time with that free throw. He's up at 72% now on the season, so we'll see how he does as far as first 2 attempts right here. He makes the first one.
The second Niagara River Lion that's not in the lineup tonight is Billy Rush, who's back home with his family in Illinois, welcoming the birth of his daughter. So Billy, if you're listening, congratulations from all of us here at the Niagara River Lions family.
Stutz makes his first 2 shots, and just like that, the River Lions have a 2-0 lead to open up this one. Something they're really going to want to keep doing here in the first quarter. Kiana, you touched on it pregame. They do like to play from behind quite a bit. They can't afford to really play from behind against a team as deep as Windsor. A long 3 attempt there by Commons, and that one doesn't go. And back the other way comes Blazek. Blazek's got to fight off a couple defenders, goes down low, finds Cook. Cook over to Springer-Williams. Drops it down low for Stutz. Back up top to Springer-Williams. He stops up, takes a look. Doesn't take the 3, down low for Cook. Cook posting up, but he's stripped of the ball, and it looked like Blazek maybe had a turnover there, or would have gotten a turnover for the River Lions, but that one rolls out of bounds. Chris Commons gets set to inbound it. Adrian Moss coming back now the other way, the 5'9" point guard. He passes it off. That 3 attempt, it looked like it was a 3-pointer, and it is. As Robinson got that one to go, and just like that, the Express were on the board. We talked about the 3-point game last time the Express were in town. They really utilized it well as Blazek stops up, takes the jumper, and he gets the lead back for the River Lions, rather.
Great play by Adam Blazek there. You know, Adam Blazek played point guard position in college when he was in Pennsylvania, but for him to slide into this point guard position here in the starting lineup, it's going to be really important for him to be able to distribute the ball and continue to shoot well from the 3-point range.
Bennett steps back and takes that 2. It's now a 5-4 game, 9:46 to go here in the first quarter. Off to Stutz in his spot. He doesn't take it. Pass off to Lewis for 3. That one's just overshot a little bit. Robinson comes up with a rebound. Robinson off to Moss. Moss back up top. Commons driving to the net, takes a look, being watched by Stutz. He gets it to go anyways. Yeah, you touched on it, Blazek. He said he played point guard again, and he hasn't done he hasn't started much at point guard this season, obviously, with Zaglinski having the season that he is, leading the league in assists by over 1 assist per game over the second leading assist getter as Cook drives to the net and gets that one to go. But he does have the familiarity with the position, and you got to think that'll really be key, especially with depending on how long Zaglinski's out, to have that depth to know that somebody else can take the role.
Yeah, Ken Murray's really going to look to Adam Blazek to kind of take over this team while Sammy Zaglinski's out, and he did a pretty good job against Windsor on the weekend with 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 steals.
Blazek back now the other way. Mandy there, he passes off to Springer-Williams. He stops up, takes a look, doesn't take it. To the other side to Blazek. He's in 3-point range. We saw some great range for him last game here at the Meridian Center. Back off to Stutz. Stutz driving the net. Got to take a look. 2 to go on the shot clock. Spins and shoots, puts it up and gets it to go.
Nice spin move there by Logan Stutz.
That's one of those players that can really get points from all over the court, and we've seen him hit the three-pointer. He does love that one spot just to the left of the net, and he can also get it done down low. He's a 6'9" forward, so he's a very big presence. Lewis passes for Stutz, that one just out of his reaches. Blazek slides out of bounds, can't get that one to stay in. So it'll be Windsor possession. Comment inbounds it to Moss. He's being watched by Blazek. Quick shot there, and that regains the lead for Windsor. Back and forth first quarter so far as Blazek comes back the other way now. Calls for a pick from Stutz. Passes it off to him. Pass is deflected. Springer Williams takes the three. Overshoots that one off the backboard, and out and back the other way comes Tony Bennett. Bennett over to Moss. Moss for three, and he drops that one. Two, rather. So he was just inside the three-point arc. Springer Williams the other way now.
Tough turnover for the Niagara River Lions right in front of our bench there.
Turnover. That's not the guy you want to turn it over to either. Maurice Bolden, he really burned the River Lions last time they were here. Although Niagara did come out with the win, Bolden had himself a fantastic game. He passed off to Stutz for three. Can't get that one to drop. It'll be interesting to see if the River Lions really use their bench like they did last time against Windsor here. They got all 12 players in the first half, so definitely something that kept the big guns healthy, to say.
So, you know, it's interesting to see that the River Lions have struggled bringing the ball up the court a little bit here, and all of a sudden Greg Carter is on the sideline about to check into this game. His first time being the first man off the bench.
Greg Carter had a very good showing in Windsor last weekend. Springer Williams posts up on Moss. Spins, but that one just slips out of his hands and out of bounds as Jamar Sutherland and Greg Carter draw into the game for Springer Williams and Marcus Lewis. As does Mike Allison. He'll take off Logan Stutz. So we see Stutz. Most nights we'll see him play most of the first quarter, if not all of it. And this one he comes off with 6:33 to go, so maybe conserving his energy. We talked about maybe some fatigue coming into effect for him.
That's right, you know, and Mike Allison has been having a really excellent game for the River Lions in the last couple of games. He's done an excellent job in that center position, and so that kind of great play off the bench really allows the team to get some key rest for their important players that they've been riding a lot of minutes so far this season.
Mike Allison was 16 points and 13 rebounds. He went 7 for 7 against Windsor, and I love the way he's been playing the past few games. Not only getting it done on offense, but also defense. He's really good at causing the offense to change the position mid-air, which is something that's amazing to see.
Carter comes up with it now. Two-time CIS Defensive Player of the Year. Playing for Lakehead. He passes it off to Cook. Sutherland back over to Carter for three. That one's just short. Maurice Bolden comes up with the rebound as he steps around Jamar Sutherland. Carter meets Bennett at half court, stays with him to the three-point arc. Pass to the corner, that three attempt, that one's no good, and coming up with the rebound there was Sutherland. Sutherland trips and follows. He'll keep a hold of the ball as he's tied up there with what looks like it was Maurice Bolden. We talked about rebounding for the River Lions. Early on in the season, they were having almost a bit of difficulty with the rebounding, almost like they were all adjusting to it, but since then they've been red hot on the glass.
Yeah, for sure, and it's something that this team definitely has done well, like you said, and to lead the league in rebounds is really well, and it gives them second chance opportunities, which is something I think they need to capitalize a little bit more on.
That's right. At the beginning of the season, they continued to give up more offensive rebounds than they were able to collect themselves, and so that really put themselves in a position where their opponents were having like 10 or 12 more field goal attempts per game. And you know, when your team shoots 50%, you get 10 more field goals, that's 5 more baskets, that's 10 points, and that was often the difference in a lot of those early games.
Well, and ultimately, you talk about 10 points. If you look at the River Lions allowing, as of right now, 107.3 points per game. If you take those 10 points off, that's just 97. That's best in the entire league, not just the Central Division. So
that's right. You know, up until recently when they've missed a couple of their key offensive players, the River Lions have not had difficulty scoring the basketball, and so it's going to be important for them to get back on that defensive end, take care of the basketball, and not let the Windsor Express to get any easy baskets.
Timeout is completed as the teams roll back onto the court. Really Blazek, Allison, Carter, Sutherland, and Cook, the same 5 on for Niagara heading into the timeout. Windsor comes out with a bit of a different look. Maurice Bolden now on the bench. Drawing in for him, that's Kirk Williams Jr. He'll be guarded by Allison as the inbound goes to Moss, being watched closely by Carter. Over to Commons. Williams Jr. takes the long shot. That one doesn't go, and Blazek comes up with the rebound.
You know, Greg Carter's going to play a key role. If Adam Blazek is going to be such a large part of this offense for the River Lions tonight, Greg Carter defending the ball handler allows Adam Blazek to catch his breath a little bit while guarding the shooting guard.
Well, that's something that a guy like Carter's so good for, and that's why you bring a guy like that in. He's been so effective defensively, especially in university basketball here in Canada, and obviously transitioning to the pro game is, I can see it as being quite a bit of a challenge, but he's seemed to have done it almost quite seamlessly, and Coach Kemery's done a good job at really easing him into the lineup. He didn't throw him in at 20 minutes a game to start. He's been slowly working his way up the lineup.
But, you know, and that's a reflection of Greg Carter really sticking to what he does well and showing the River Lions the great tool that he can be off the bench for this team.
Pump fake and a shot there by Brandon Robertson, but that one doesn't drop. 4:45 to go here in the first quarter. The River Lions trail 15-10 to the visiting Windsor Express. As Robinson looks to inbound underneath the River Lions net. Goes outside to Williams Jr. He'll pass that one off to Bennett. Bennett working on the opposite number 5 Blazek, puts it up, gets it to go, and one.
You know, as the River Lions trail 17-10 here early, it's those turnovers that we're talking about. You know, the River Lions have already turned the ball over 5 times, which has led to 6 more field goal attempts for the Windsor Express. And so while they're keeping pace and shooting percentage with the Windsor Express, here they find themselves down 7 points.
Alex Johnson draws into the game for Windsor. He takes off Adrian Moss. The 3-point play cannot be completed by the Windsor Express, and back the other way comes Greg Carter. He's got to work around his defender. That's Brandon Robinson. Nice cross move on him. Can't shake him. Now he tries to spin right to the net now. Carter passes it off for Sutherland. Off to Allison, driving to the net, and he gets that one to go.
Nice ball movement there by the Niagara River Lions.
Passing it around now. Bennett drives to the net, once again being watched by Blazek. Puts that one up and also gets it to go. 4 straight points for Bennett now. Logan Stutz draws back into the game for Quan Cook. He'll inbound it to Adam Blazek. Blazek calling for a play. He's got Allison to his right. Drives to his left, now to Allison up top. Allison takes a look, fumbles the ball. But a whistle is gone. 19-12, the River Lions trail this one to the Windsor Express. Late here in the first quarter, rather. 3:54 to go. 14 to go on the shot clock off the Sutherland inbound. Gives it right to Stutz, back to Sutherland. Over to Blazek, pump fakes the 3. Now he takes it and gets that one to go. And just like that, the River Lions are within 4. Johnson back the other way. Now he's being watched by Greg Carter. Stopping up and taking that one is Robinson. He can't get it to go, and Sutherland has it back now the other way. He's got Carter to his left, goes to him. Carter takes a look, down low to Stutz. He's got Carter going to the net, stops up in the post, drops that one, and now it's a 2-point game, 19-17.
You know, those are the great little plays that we talk about when we talk about Logan Stutz being such an efficient offensive player. Those are not necessarily the fancy plays, but right there, efficient and getting to the basket and getting himself an easy basket.
And Logan Stutz is so patient there on the offense. He could have shot right over, but instead he did a little nice up and under move.
Behind the back pass by Bennett. Some nice ball work there by Windsor as the rebound is up in the air. Commons comes up with it, puts it back, and he'll get that one to go.
You know, even though they scored there, that was a great defensive position by the Niagara River Lions. You could see them get caught there a little bit, not sure who each person was guarding, but Mike Allison, just like what we talked about, Kiana, really impacts each shot on the floor.
Blazek being pressured by a couple of Express players. Pass off to Allison, who finds Sutherland. He stops up, takes it 2, and gets that one to go. And the River Lions not going away, as they're really not allowing Windsor to run away with this one. Johnson taking a look. He passes inside, finds Bennett, can't get it to go. Bennett's looking for a call. He's not going to get one, and back the other way comes Blazek for the River Lions. Blazek stops up, takes a look, far side to Sutherland. Sutherland, the long two. Can't get that one to go as rebound collected there by Mike Allison. He gets it down low, puts it up, and gets it to go, and just like that, the game's tied up again.
Great basketball by Mike Allison, kicking out that rebound really well, offensive rebound, and then being in the right position to put the ball in the net.
Working it around now. Bennett stripped of the ball once again, doesn't like the call there. Back the other way came Sutherland. Yeah, we talked about Mike Allison. He said he can get it done on both sides of the basketball, and he's really shown that off the bench to Coach Ken Murray. He can really be an impact player because he's not one of those guys, he's not going to start every night, but when he comes off the bench, he definitely makes an immediate impact.
You know, it's so important for Coach Ken Murray to know exactly what he's going to get out of his guys when they come off the bench, and for them to know the great things that they're good at and what sorts of things that they are parts of their game. And so Mike Allison really staying quiet, you know, doing his work, putting his time in, and showing Coach Ken Murray that he's an asset for this team.
Stutson Allison dive for the ball there. Comes to Springer Williams as he's stripped of the ball, but that one goes out of bounds. It'll be River Lions possession underneath the Express net. Springer Williams set to inbound.
You know, that's something that we've seen from Windsor every time that they've played the Niagara River Lions, that they really give a great help defense on the strong side, and so it'll be important for the River Lions to recognize that help defense coming over, swing the ball around, and find someone open.
A lot of double teams by Windsor, and we've seen a few times Niagara, especially against Windsor, really trying to force it inside. They haven't been doing that as much here tonight, and they've been getting the points inside when they have to, but if they can find the open man off the double teams, then that could really let them run away with this game, kind of offset the second chance points and the turnover opportunities for Windsor. Robinson working the ball there, and
Good defensive pressure there by the Niagara River Lions.
21-21, 1:17 to go here in the first quarter. Blazek inbounds it to Marcus Lewis, right back to Blazek. Calling for a play as Stutz heads back to the bench. Over to Cook. Cook to Springer Williams for three, and he drops that one. 3-point lead with just 1 minute to go now.
Just like that, the Niagara River Lions have a 24-21 lead over the Windsor Express.
Williams Jr. passes it off to Bolden. Go to far side to Johnson. Johnson back to Williams Jr. Takes that shot, doesn't get a field. Lewis with the rebound. He carries it back up the other way now for the River Lions. Quick pass looking for Cook inside. Couldn't find him as that one's deflected. Allison tips it. He can't come up with it as a whistle is called there at center court. 33.6 seconds to go here in the first quarter. A 24-21 lead for the River Lions.
That's going to be a quick foul on Clinton Springer Williams.
Nine-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. Johnson drives to the net. He's being watched by Blazek. Puts it up. Can't get it to go. Springer Williams comes up with it. Shot clock is irrelevant. 20 to go now in the first quarter. Springer Williams will take his time, just let the time tick off. He calls for a pass. He's got Cook coming up for the pick as that ball is almost turned over, but deflected out of bounds there by Brandon Robinson.
Windsor Express are really doing a good job of disrupting the Niagara River Lions ball movement, especially when they're trying to hold on to the ball. And you're right, you know, sitting there trying to kill the clock, and you're the Express have really disrupted this play.
Cook drives in that. 3 seconds to go. Puts it up. Can't get it to go. Tipped again. That one out of bounds. Shows 1 second on the clock. It'll be interesting to see if they add any time. But nonetheless, 1 second to go here as the Express go to inbound it. Bolden inbounds it. Johnson at the buzzer, puts it up, doesn't get it to go. So after the first quarter, the Niagara River Lions lead 24-21 over the visiting Windsor Express. What are some things the River Lions can really take away from that quarter, Kiana?
I thought they did really well in this quarter, and we talked about it at the beginning of the game to take the lead or to keep on pace. And with the 24-21 lead, did the right things. They were moving the ball. They didn't start out too strong from behind the arc. They're only shooting 2 for 8, but they are 2 for 3 in the past 3 possessions here. So they're doing well offensively. I think there's just a couple things that they have to be cautious with, and that is the double teaming by Windsor, so they have to take care of the basketball, and also a little bit more communication on the defensive end. We saw a couple possessions in which there was lack of communication in the rotation, which led someone to be wide open on the Windsor Express in just outside the 3 or inside the 3. And Windsor's only shooting 1 for 7, so they haven't gotten a bit too hard yet, but once Windsor gets hot, it could cause a problem.
You know, I think that the Niagara River Lions have done a very good job of really getting everyone involved in the offense so far. There have been a couple times this season when Logan Stutz, the same as Zaglinski, and even Adam Blazek have played such huge roles for this team that other players haven't necessarily gotten involved. And so when those players went on the bench or they got pulled, the River Lions fell behind. Tonight, we've already seen 3 or 4 players really play key roles in the offense. And, you know, Mike Allison, you look down the stat sheet, he's already a perfect 3 for 3 from the field at the end of this first quarter. He finished last Saturday's game against Windsor, perfect 7 for 7 from the field. So continuing that hot shooting from the field.
10 for 10 on his last 10 attempts, obviously. A great number to look upon. It will be interesting to see. He's not starting the second quarter, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Ken Murray put him back into this game, especially with how much he's been rotating the bench. It's the 5 starters back on now for the River Lions, as we saw Greg Carter play quite a bit in that first quarter. Looked very good too. A couple key defensive plays, nice ball movement as we talked about.
And you know, it's so nice to see it was so nice to see Greg Carter playing so smoothly with Jamar Sutherland. Those are 2 guys that have played together before in Toronto 3D, and so here they are on the River Lions playing professional basketball and looking very comfortable with each other.
Second quarter underway. Stutz passes it off to Lewis. Back up top to Cook. He finds Blazek. Blazek bobbles it. He's being watched closely by Moss. Picked step by Cook. Cook finds it. Cook in 3-point range. He's being watched by Bolden. Now he takes it. That one's just short. Gets it up before the shot clock goes. As he finds it at the foul line. He's got a battle for it. He can't come up with it and back the other way. Now comes Moss. Moss has got a man with him. Puts it up for the alley-oop, and that one doesn't go.
Good job by Marcus Lewis, though, forcing the Express to pass and putting them in a bad position.
Coming back the other way in the transition, that was Blazek, making this a 5-point game now for the River Lions. Blazek, we've seen him, we talked about his range. We saw him hit a couple deep threes last time they were here at the Meridian Center. You can also hit him from inside, so another one of those guys that can really be a threat all over the court. Bolden drops that 3 to bring the Express back within 2.
Bolden left wide open at the top of the key there.
Off to Stutz. Over to Lewis. Lewis drives to the net. Goes underneath, puts it up, can't get it to go. As Bolden comes up with the rebound, he's being watched by Stutz. Moss, quick pass to the corner. Bennett for 3. That one hits the right of the iron and out. Back to Bennett. Down low, he finds Williams Jr., and he'll put that one up easily. It's now a tie game, 26-all. Blazek back the other way. He's being watched by Moss. Passes up top to Cook. Over to Lewis. Springer Williams, a wide open 3, and he drops that one to give the River Lions a 3-point lead. You see Williams Jr. chatting with Moss as they run up the court. Maybe trying to figure out whose assignment Springer Williams was on that last one, as he was wide open. The pass back to Bolden. Back to Williams Jr. Takes a look. He's got Moss behind him. Drives to the net. Puts it up. Can't get it to go. Rebounded by Cook. Blazek now the other way. Stops up. Takes a look. Passes off to Cook. Cook back to Blazek. Tries to shake off Moss. Tries to double team. Looks inside for Stutz. And there we see the double team again by Windsor. And good job by Blazek there to try to get the pass off, but just couldn't find an open man.
Just really threading the needle on that one, going around his double team and finding Logan Stutz, but unfortunately unable to complete that pass.
Marcus Lewis passes off to Stutz for 3. He can't get that one to go. Rebounded by Shaquille Keefe. Keefe now driving the net on Blazek. He gets that one to go. It's now a 29-28 game, a close game throughout. We've seen this a couple times between these 2 teams. Last time they were here, it was a tie game after halftime, and it was close to the very end when Niagara won. That pass down low for Cook doesn't go. Jamar Sutherland once again drawing into this game. Looks like he'll take off. Looks like Springer Williams or Lewis it will be. Talked about Shamar Sutherland. He's one of those guys that played a lot of minutes off the bench there in the first quarter, and he's earned some time here in the second. Blazek's got a man on him, shakes off Bennett, puts it up, gets that one to go.
Put that shot left-handed on him, Blazek.
The natural already, putting it up left-handed as well, showing how versatile he is. Moss has got Blazek on him. Pass it off to Keith. Keith being watched closely by Sutherland. Now driving to the net, goes up, puts it up, gets it to go. River Lions now leading just 31-30. 8:31 remaining here in the first half. Coming up in the second half, we'll have Commissioner of the NBL of Canada, David Magley, on with us on here in commentary. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for the basketball as well, as Keith takes his free throw and ties this one up at 31.
So the River Lions did a good job of putting themselves in the lead early in this game. Now they've sustained this run by the Windsor Express, and it'll be important for them to take back control of this basketball game.
Blazek drives to the net, puts it up, can't get it to go, but he will shoot for two. Blazek shooting 73% from the charity stripe so far this season. He'll take his first two tonight. He gets the first one to drop. As does the second two-point River Lions lead. Moss now the other way, being watched by Blazek. He ends it off. Bennett to Keith. Keith fakes the handoff, now drives to the net. He's got Springer Williams on him, puts up the reverse layup and gets it to go.
Really good job of Keith by turning the corner there and getting that open drive to the basket.
Shaquille Keith, he's very surprisingly agile. You look at, he's 6'5", 200 pounds. So usually when you see a guy that kind of size, he's not that agile, but he can really, like you said, turn the corners almost on a dime. We've seen it a couple times now driving to the net. Keith sets the inbound. He's being watched by Sutherland. He looks down low, finds his man, back up top to Keith. Keith now, far side to Bennett. Back up top, and that one will slip out of the hands of Moss, and it will be a backcourt violation. River Lions will regain possession.
Just the third turnover for the Windsor Express in this game so far. Niagara River Lions with 9.
That's something we've seen a lot this season, is a lot more turnovers for the River Lions, but the turnovers they have been getting from the other team, they've been able to do pretty well with. So it'll be interesting to see how that keeps up in this one.
That's right, that was just the third turnover by the Windsor Express, and the River Lions have made them pay with 5 points early.
Moss now with it, he's being watched by Blazek. Pick set by Commons. Back up top. Stop up shot there by Bennett. Put back by Paul Cooper, that one didn't go, and Blazek's got it now the other way. Blazek stops up. It's a short double team off to Cook now. Cook takes the two-point jumper, can't get that one to drop. Moss now with it. Moss driving to the net, pump fakes, looks for his man and finds Cooper on the inside, as we see Mike Allison getting ready to draw into the game now for the River Lions. Blazek pass off to Sutherland. Sutherland dribbles, mishandles that one, dives for the ball, can't keep it in bounds. That will be Windsor possession, as we see Greg Carter and Mike Allison drawing back into the game for Logan Stutz and Quentin Springer-Williams. 6:30 to go here in the first half. All knotted up at 35s. Set to inbound it here. It looks like it'll be Chris Commons, as Greg Carter is watching Adrian Moss. We see a collision there at the top of the three-point key.
Sutherland getting called for the foul there.
It didn't look very intentional at all. It almost looks like they just kind of ran into each other, not looking where they were going. But Sutherland called for the foul there, so 15 to go on the shot clock. It's Tony Bennett gets set to inbound. He's got to find somebody as Moss is being watched closely by Carter. Moss now driving to the net. Behind the back pass. Common's driving the net. He's got Allison on him. Can't put it in over Allison. Cook comes up with the rebound. See Mike Allison playing some good inside defense there. Is the only River Lion in the top 5 for blocks in the NBL, averaging just over a block a game off the bench. So definitely been very effective defensively, like we've talked about so much, and obviously offensively, the 10-shot streak now for him.
You know, that 1 block per game looks so much more impressive when you look at his minutes per game, which are not over 20.
I think if you were to look at blocks per minutes, it's definitely a lot more of an effective number. If you look, because blocks per game, some guys, they can only play 8 minutes a game, some guys can play 40 minutes a game, but if you were to look at it per 40 minutes per game, definitely a lot better number for him.
Sutherland does a good job grabbing that rebound.
Inside Allison. Allison throws it down and gets the crowd a little riled up here at the Meridian Center.
Great find by DeQuan Cook.
DeQuan Cook with a nice inside pass there to Mike Allison, and Mike Allison threw it down, extending that shot streak now to 11. She's 4 for 4 on the day. 5:32 to go. Here in the first half, the River Lions trailing the Windsor Express by 1, 38-37. Here, the Meridian Center crowd starting to make some noise here. They've had some pretty good crowds all year round. Obviously showing their support for the newest franchise here in the Niagara region, the only professional franchise in the Niagara region.
You know, this 38-37 start is such an impressive start for the Niagara River Lions when you consider Sammy Zaglinski and Billy Rush are not playing tonight. And those 2 players make up more than 30 of the shots that this team takes. And so while those guys are not in the lineup tonight, those create opportunities for some other players like Clinton Springer-Williams getting a lot more runs tonight than he has in previous games, and Greg Carter being on the floor much more often. And so those 2 guys are really taking advantage of the opportunities that are being presented to them.
And I think that's one of the things you really have to consider is when somebody goes down with injury, that means somebody has to step up. When you look at Billy Rush, he's only played 3 games, averaging 14 points per game. Sammy Zaglinski, obviously, playing 11 games before the injury in Orangeville. He's averaging almost 16 points per game, and then over 8 assists per game as well, as he's the leading assist getter in the NBL of Canada. So obviously, you know, 2 big pieces like that, both out of your lineup against a pretty tough and deep Windsor team. They're definitely hanging in there, and they've had a couple leads. They've been in a very back-and-forth battle here with the Express.
That's true, you know, and Shamar Sutherland getting a lot more time on the court than he has previously too, and he's leading the River Lions here with 3 assists. And so him and DeQuan Cook both have 3 assists, and so that's really impressive and a great job getting his teammates in positions to score.
We see him back out there on the floor. He'll be out there with Cook, Carter, Allison, and Blazek. Carter once again watching Moss, the double team there by the River Lions, Cook and Carter. That pass inside to Cooper. He puts it up off the bottom of the backboard. He will go to the line for 2. It's interesting, we talked about Adam Blazek, his first start at point guard here for the River Lions, and he hasn't looked very out of place. We obviously talked about the familiarity, but especially playing in the pro game, it's much faster, and but hasn't looked very out of place, but very effective as well, playing the majority of the minutes for the River Lions.
You know, last weekend, Adam Blazek played 45 minutes on both Friday night and Saturday night when both of those, when Logan Stutz and Sammy Zaglinski were struggling. And so he is really an important part of this team when those 2 guys are not in the lineup, especially when Sammy's not in the lineup. So he's doing a very good job of keeping up that presence at the point guard position.
Carter calls for a play, being watched by Moss, passed off to Blazek. Down low for Cook. Cook being watched by Cooper. Mishandles, back up top to Sutherland. Some nice ball movement here by the River Lions. Driving to the net is Carter. Back to Sutherland for 3. He drops that one. The River Lions
can
have
you tell
a lead.
those 2 guys are comfortable playing with one another? That was a great pass and a great find.
They always seem to know where each other are as we're all knotted up here at 39s. Or we were, until Adrian Moss broke in there and gave a 41-39 lead for the Windsor Express. As Greg Carter once again coming back the other way now. Off to Allison. Down low for Cook. He looks for Carter. Down in the key, finds Allison. A mid-range jumper. That one doesn't go. Rebound collected by Moss. Logan Stutz gets ready to draw back into this one. Shot is put up, but Niagara will come up with possession. 4:24 to go here in the first half. A 2-point lead for the Windsor Express, 41-39.
Some key Niagara River Lions having great shooting night so far tonight. Adam Blazek gets a perfect 4 for 4 from the field, 1 for 1 from the three-point line, 2 for 2 from free throws. Logan Stutz is 3 for 5 from the field, and so, you know, Logan had a quiet game on Friday night when he was obviously struggling, and so it's great to see him get back on this floor, look comfortable, and get himself some easy shots.
Carter hands it off. Stutz to Sutherland, down low for Allison. He stops up, spins, and puts down 2 more as that game's tied up again.
You know, with that basket, Mike Allison is also a perfect 5 for 5 from the field tonight. He is really, that net must look as big as a hula hoop for him tonight.
Moss tries to shake off Carter, but the speed of Carter catching him in no time. He went from about half court to the free throw line in probably about a second and a half, as driving to the net there is Robinson. Blazek now with it. He's being watched by a much larger Robinson. Passes it off to Carter. To Sutherland. He mishandles the ball. Carter finds it at the Riverline logo. Passing it around now. Blazek's got to watch. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Tries to get it off. Won't get it off in time as that one soars over the backboard. The shot clock violation will be called. Springer Williams draws back to the game now for Jamar Sutherland. River Lions trail 3:19 to go here in the first half, 43-41. Visiting Windsor Express, who sit at 6-6 so far on the season, to Niagara's 3-9. But I think that 3-9 record really doesn't dictate just how well they played in a lot of games. A lot of them have been one-possession games. If you look at the final scores, like the one against London last week here.
That's right. You know, the team has done such a good job of not letting too many games get away from them. A lot of games have been either or. You know, they come down to final 2 possessions. I talked to Coach Ken Murray after Saturday night's loss in Windsor, and he talked about the importance of this team being able to close it down in those final 5 minutes. They've done a good job of putting themselves in position to win so many games, but we're unable to do so. So it will be important we'll have to see in those last 5 minutes how the River Lions do tonight, locking it down.
Springer Williams will step to the line for the River Lions. Shooting 79.3% so far on the season. That number will go up a bit. Second shot for Springer Williams. That one also goes. 2:55 to go here now in the first half. 45-43, the Express lead. Bennett's got Carter on him. Picks up by Bolden, off to Robinson for 3. Can't get that one to go. Carter comes up with the rebound. Pulls a nice move on his man there to Springer Williams. Springer Williams drives for the net. Gets the contact.
Clinton Springer gets charged with that's called for a charge there on that. Disappointing into such a strong play. Great handles by Greg Carter there. You know, not showing this team that not only is he a superior defender, but we're really able to keep control of the ball and bring it up the floor with authority.
Yeah, Greg Carter, we've seen signs of it in warm-up, some of the things he can do. He's a very good ball handler, and obviously his defensive ability is what we talk about so much, but the effect he can have on the offensive side of the ball is also, I think, very underrated. So he's got the ball now. Quick feed as he passes it off to Stutz to Blazek. Blazek driving the net, puts it up, and he gets that one to go, and he stays perfect on the day shooting.
You know, there aren't too many open lanes for the Niagara River Lions against the Windsor Express here, but Adam Blazek did a good job of recognizing one when he saw it.
2-minute warning goes here at the Meridian Center. Is driving to the net, but turnover there as Niagara will come up possession. Marcus Lewis takes off Greg Carter. 1:53 to go, 47-45, the Express lead. Another close contest here at the Meridian Center. Nothing new for these fans, obviously. Blazek passes it off to Lewis. Over to Allison in the center. Back to Blazek. Stops up, takes a look. Springer Williams in 3-point range. Doesn't take it, stops up, but he's called for travel. Express gained possession, 1:34 to go now. Here in the first half, Chris Commons will inbound.
You know, early in this game, the River Lions bench, we talked about the important role that they're going to have to play for this team, and they're outscoring the Express bench 14-12. Good start.
The big block there. We're talking about the defensive ability. Mike Allison with another block. The key play here. Late in the first half. Now he comes up with the ball, drives the net, puts it up, and one.
Nice offensive play there by Mike Allison. Seeing the size difference between him and Tony Bennett and just attacking.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, Mike Allison, one of the taller players on the River Lions. Tony Bennett just 6'1", Mike Allison 6'9", so the 8-inch height difference definitely coming into effect there. He had the block at one end, now a chance for a 3-point play. Can't get the third one to drop as that was deflected out of bounds, but we're all tied up once again here at the Meridian Center, 47 all. 1:10 to go now in the first half as the River Lions call a timeout. So getting into the later stages now of the first half, what do you want to do for the River Lions? Do you just want to keep it close, or do you want to try to get a couple quick buckets to get ahead?
With a minute and 10 seconds left, you do want to get a couple buckets to take that lead into the next half, but you also want to play great defense to keep Windsor from climbing ahead.
What would you do if you're the River Lions, or even the Express? Do you want to risk trying to get ahead?
You know, that it's been so important for the River Lions to not put themselves in a position where they're in a hole. And they've trailed for so long, for so many games this season, that to go into this half with a lead would be so important for this team. So I don't think they're going to try and really rush and get out of their game. They've done a really good job of playing within themselves. You know, they don't go chasing too many waterfalls. They do a good job of making sure that they play within themselves, and we're going to try and look for them to go into this half with the lead.
Lots of good looks as well for the River Lions in this game. You look at just the shooting percentage by itself, it's been absolutely red hot, but that's because they've been getting the good looks. They're not trying to force anything inside or from 3-point range.
That's right. You know, they are shooting 57% from the field, only 25% from the 3-point range, but 57% from the field. So they're really doing a good job of making sure that they get themselves those easy baskets inside. That's something Logan Stutz, Mike Allison, those bigs inside the paint have done a very good job of.
And I think you look with Simon Zaglinski out of the lineup, he does take a lot of the 3-pointers for this team, and usually they're a very prominent perimeter threat, but when the 3-pointer's not working, they've proven here tonight they can get their points from all around the quarters. Mike Allison blocks that one, or sorry, rather Logan Stutz, not necessarily a block, but he deflects it out of bounds, stops the pass.
That's right, and disrupting their offense in that 24 seconds. Now the Express only have 13 to work with.
Commons hands it off for Bennett. Bennett stops up, takes the 3. Can't get that one to go. Rebounded.
Good offensive rebound by the Express.
Bennett now driving the net, puts it up, finger roll. Can't get it to go, but it looks like Mike Allison's being called for a goaltend on that one, and he doesn't like to call it all. Nobody on the River Lions likes that one.
No, I don't know the answer to this, but I know that the River Lions, that National Basketball of Canada does play FIBA rules, and I know that there are differences between FIBA rules and the NBA with regards to the cylinder and how goaltending is called.
Let's see who it was.
No basket.
Crowd here now at the Meridian Center starting to get a little bit louder as there'll be a 15-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. 39 seconds to go here in the first half. Adam Blazek with the ball.
Let's see if they go 2 for 1 here or if they just take their time.
Blazek's got a man on him. Allison in 3-point range. You watch from afar by Bolden. Deep 3 by Springer Williams, and he drops it.
Clinton Springer Williams 3 for 4 from 3-point range. He's having an excellent night.
50-47, the River Lions lead. Just about 10 seconds to go now in the first half as Tony Bennett calls for his man Robinson now. Being watched closely by Springer Williams, 5 to go. Robinson now being double teamed. He's got to hurry, spin, shoots. can't get it to go at the buzzer. So after the first
This court sits in this particular arena is so unique and so cool. And I remember when Richard Petco told me about it, I just thought, how's that going to look with the Jumbotron being off center? You don't even notice it because all you do is look at the three sides you can see, and it just makes it a really cool place.
Now, Commissioner, we are a little bit more than a quarter of the way through the season so far. And so from a league's perspective, how's the season going so far this year?
We're thrilled. I mean, we've got probably 8 to 9, maybe 10 games that were last-second shots and decided by, great play, and it's competitive. And, we've done drug testing with all of our guys. Not one guy failed. We've had to suspend no one this season because everybody's behaving well. And I'm just really happy with the product that we're putting on the floor and the way our young men compete and what they're doing.
For people who have never been to a National Basketball League of Canada game or aren't that familiar with the league, what do you tell them about our league?
Well, I think we're similar to the NBA, except for our guys are smaller, and so because of that, we play a little quicker brand. We don't have the big guys that lumber up and down the court, and you're going to get closer for the same price you're going to pay to be up in the very top section at the ACC. You're going to be right on courtside and get a chance to see these guys firsthand. And, everybody's impressed when they watch this level of play for the first time.
So this is Niagara's first year in the league, and fans here are very familiar with what's going on here in the franchise. But from the league's perspective and from your perspective, where you've worked very closely with all 8 franchises in this league and know what's happening in all of them, how is this team doing in their very first year?
In some ways, they're actually a leading team because forget their record on the court for a minute. A lot of things that they're doing in the community, the way that the 3 owners have sold out the front courtside seats, the way that they're leveraging that bar area behind the goal, all of that is unique to us, and we're just learning from them. At the same time, they're smart enough to know that they have things they can learn. So right now they've got Chris Cross here, who is the game day manager for the Orangeville A's and was for the Brampton A's and was for the Oshawa Power years ago. And he's here to just work game day and make certain that any little hiccups that you all may have, he can help figure out. And we're really working as a unit right now. The whole entire league is coming together to make the best product we can in every venue.
We have fans that are so invested and so interested in what's happening with the River Lions here. I've been to all of the team's road games, and I've seen a couple of fans. It's great to see River Lions jerseys on the road. We saw some in Orangeville the other night, and so fans who are intimately familiar with what's happening here in the River Lions, what are some key storylines that are happening around the league that they might not necessarily know about?
Well, I think that when you go out east, it's exciting to hear what Halifax has done. They brought 25 owners in from the local community to make that franchise so much stronger than it's ever been. And the proof is the fact that they're 9-2 and they're the best team in the league right now record-wise. St. John's is having a very strong year. PEI, who is historically one of the best teams in the league, recently just had a very tough start, so they brought in 6 new guys recently. So they're shaking things up. And the Moncton Miracle, as quiet as it's kept, have won 5 out of their last 7 games. We've got 4 owners that have already signed on, and one of the owners is very, very active right now. He's probably helped generate $15,000 to $20,000 of additional revenue for the franchise just in the last week. So we're just excited to have local people stepping up in each of our markets and helping shore up these franchises so that they're going to be here for not just 5 more years, but for a long, long time as this league grows.
Checking back in here, the Niagara River Lions are ahead 56-54 before this free throw. Make that 56-55.
So but you've had some wonderful games, huh? I mean, I've watched a lot of your games online, and there's very few that aren't close the whole way.
Yeah, that's the thing about this team is that they are 3-9, and so looking objectively, that record doesn't seem so great, but there have been so many games that have come down to the last couple of possessions. And this team, I'm so impressed with tonight. Maybe there are about 900, 1,000 people here, but they're so engaged in what's happening on the court, and they feel so close to the action, and they're so supportive, and it makes this arena a really loud arena. Tell us about the opportunities that these great OHL arenas throughout the league or throughout the province, throughout the whole country, kind of provide for a league like the National Basketball League of Canada.
Well, there's 52 major junior hockey markets. That's what the OHL, the Q League, the Western Leagues all hold. And when you look at it, every one of those could hold an NBL franchise. So it's not at all unreasonable to think that one day we could have 16 to 20, 24 teams in this country. At that point, the whole TSN, Sportsnet, that conversation makes sense when we're a national league like that, and we're able to leverage exactly what it is we have, which is an excitement for basketball nationwide that is growing. I mean, I did a combine out in Calgary, and I met with one of the guys that do AAU, and he has 300 kids in his AAU program. 300. You know, you just look at the popularity of this game. It's only a matter of time until these young people are of age to buy tickets, and you're going to see these franchises just organically grow to 2,000 and 3,000, and it's going to be a really exciting time.
You know, we've talked about that a little bit in the past, that there are so many hundreds and hundreds of players that graduate college, both in the United States and in Canada, that don't get drafted by the NBA, and then for the most part, unless they're heading out to Europe, their career is over. And so this league provides such a great opportunity for them to continue chasing that professional basketball dream. And I want to ask you specifically about the Canadian players in this league. What an important opportunity that this league provides those players.
Well, you know, we averaged 5.3 Canadians per team last year. We had 44 Canadians. We had 42 Canadians that played in our league last year for 8 teams. You know, we'll probably average 6 this year, which is half of our team. And you know, these are Canadians that are contributing and playing. We believe that there's another 150 Canadians we'd like to bring back to our league someday, but they're making a lot of money someplace else. And if and when we're able to do that, it's going to be because these 1,000 fans grow to 2,000 or 3,000. Then we can afford to pay them what they need to bring a lot of these great Canadians back home and play in front of their own families.
That was my next question for you. Was we see there are lots of players come to this league for lots of different reasons. Some of them are straight out of college. Some of them have played some time in Europe. Some of them have been playing in our league for 3 or 4 years now. And so when you're talking to prospective players and talking to them about what this league can offer a professional basketball player, either American or Canadian, what are the things that you talk to them about?
Well, you know, we talk about style of play. You know, with the number of Americans we have, it's going to be a very, very fast league. We probably have more Americans in this league than most leagues in the world. So it makes it a very fast pace, because that's how it goes. We play a 48-minute game, which means that you're going to have a chance to earn stats, which, you know, the guys to get big contracts around the world, they've got to have some stats and good film. We provide that style of play and that length of game that works for them. But then the big thing is they get to be in this community. They get to go to schools. They get to be visible. When you all beat London with the last-second shot by Clinton Springer Williams, I went over to Cully's afterwards with the owners. When those guys walked into that restaurant, it was like they were rock stars. People were clapping and cheering. And you know what? Outside of major university ball in the States, they're missing that. You know, when you go to play most places in the world, you're not a superstar like they are here. They can really enjoy a level of professionalism in Canada that's hard to find anyplace else.
Yeah, you know, I think that this franchise has done, specifically this franchise, I don't have too much experience elsewhere, but they've done such a good job of, I feel like this team is as big a deal as you make it, you know, and the Niagara River Lions have done such a good job of really making this franchise a big deal in this community, and I think that the fans are starting to recognize that.
Oh, they've done a fabulous job. I mean, you know, if you look at the way that they market their team, billboards and posters, and you know, they've marketed their coach, the very popular coach at Brock, and Ken Murray he won 2 national championships and retired on a national championship 6 or 7 years ago, and came back and has given back to the community that he loves so much. And you know, I've just been thrilled to watch this team develop this year. And you know, hats off to Richard, Mike, and Jeff. Those guys did a heck of a job.
You know, we have been, the 3 of us here are pretty connected to what's happening around the league in the social media perspective, and talk to us about the level of engagement that fans have with this league. It's
incredible, and one of the things that I personally commit to is that, you know, if my name's mentioned or if I'm reading something and they have a question, I engage, I talk to them, and I believe that if they're going to invest their money and their emotional capital in this thing, the least they could do is have the commissioner respect them and talk back to them. So I think it's unique. I don't think Adam Silver is probably responding to tweets or to messages on Instagram or Facebook, but I sure am, and I kind of love it. Sometimes they can be strong, but you know, like I posted a few weeks ago, please be fair. Feel free to share your negative thoughts and feel free to share your positive thoughts. But at the end of the day, our owners are investing in this for you. They're not investing in these to make millions of dollars. They recognize that they're probably going to lose money a lot longer than they're going to make it at start. But they're willing to do that because they're bringing a value to you. And then our coaches and our players are away from their families, and they're giving you all they have. And quite frankly, our players, our referees, they do their darn best. And they've got families. And I just think it's important that, share what you feel, but don't be personal. Don't go after them personally and talk about anybody, whether it's a player, an owner, a coach, or a commissioner, because we all have families and we're all doing the best we can for everybody. Look at how they've got Logan Stutz's picture at the end.
Yeah.
One of your fans did a cartoon caricature of him. I don't know what the character's name was, but Logan was thrilled with it because I saw him repost it, and I know his father was excited.
The Cyclops from X-Men.
Is that what it was? Yeah. Cyclops from X-Men?
Yeah, Logan Stutz. You touched on Ken Murray earlier and the job he's done at Brock. Do you think really the basketball scene in Niagara was really just waiting to kind of have a coming out party like they have now?
Yeah, I think that this community, it's again, if you look at the demographics, the standalone markets that aren't connected to a major city, it's easier in St. Catharines and London than it probably is in Brampton or Mississauga or even Windsor, because those markets are all connected to major hubs. So for me, if I'm in Brampton, chances are they're going to read the Toronto paper, they're going to watch the Toronto news, and they're not covering us. So even if the Brampton Guardian comes out and covers our games, it's not the same as London. London has a beat writer, Morris Delacosta, that does a fabulous job covering the games before. He writes stories on the guys, he covers the game, and then he writes postscripts. That's how you build a franchise, and we're able to get that in a lot of our markets. Your local paper's doing a wonderful job, and it's been really nice to see this coverage. In the last 14 days, Moncton has had 24 color photos in their paper. Let me tell you something, that's building momentum. That's giving me more owners. That's creating it's making the franchise real. And that's what local media can do for you, and it's awfully hard to do if you're not in a market like this.
Commissioner, I grew up in Brampton, so I'm very familiar with that aspect. My parents both worked downtown Toronto. That's where we would go for our entertainment. That's where we would go for our newspaper and news. But you're right, here in this community, fans are so invested in what's happening here, both in a sporting aspect, in a political aspect, and in culturally, that they're so ready to be engaged by something so great as this basketball.
Well, and I will tell you, I loved coaching in Brampton for 2 years. I loved our fans. I loved when as our last game in Brampton, we had 1,900 fans when we beat London in Game 5 last year. And they were fabulous. They were engaged and wonderful. But it just takes a lot longer when you don't have local media to help you.
Without a doubt, and you talked about the local media aspect. Do you think that's why this team in Niagara, just from the start, they've really attracted more fans than Oshawa or Mississauga would because they were so close to the GTA?
Well, A, and B, I think that the engagement of the ownership group. Let me tell you something. There's nowhere you're going to go where Mike and Jeff and Rick are not going to hit you up for tickets. It's just the way it is. So if they're having breakfast and they say, hey, you guys own the pro basketball team? They say, we sure do. By the way, do you have your tickets yet? And having local owners, Vito Fergia has done an amazing job in London by getting people to buy tickets. Right now, you'll see Orangeville continue to grow because that's the community that the Tippings live in. And let me tell you something, Jesse Tipping's helping that franchise some. Jenna Tipping is amazing there, and Jackie, Jameson, and James and Joni, all of them are involved. The whole family's involved in building that franchise. And it's just a matter of time till you see that little gym get popping. And it's going to be loud, and it's going to be fun to go play a game, and I'm sure.
I was in Orangeville on Friday night when the Niagara River Lions lost to the Orangeville A's, and I was so impressed by how loud and how excited that crowd was. That you're right. It is a smaller gym, but those people there were so deeply engaged and passionate about their team.
Well, and God love James. I mean, he doesn't just put him in a small gym. He added 600 seats on one side. He built suites up top. He has a high-def screen on one end. And, he has more plans to make that an even more entertaining venue. That's the thing about it is, we in the D League, there's 2 or 3 venues that are built like that. And again, if it makes fiscal sense, and for a market like the Dufferin region, if they can bring up 800 to 1,000 people in there, it's going to be crazy and a lot of fun for the people that are going and enjoying that. Man, Mike Allison is playing a heck of a game.
Oh my gosh. Mike Allison, we've seen him with a couple of big shots already here in this quarter, and we see another 3-pointer there by Quentin Springer-Williams.
So you talk about your Canadians. Mike Allison gets a rebound above the rim, brings it up, throws it to Clinton Springer-Williams, who bangs it in from the other end. These guys are having an impact in our league.
And that's such a key point, because lots of times when we think about teams like the CFL, who also mandates that Canadian players on the team, lots of times you think, oh, those guys are going to sit on the bench, they're not going to play. But you're right, specifically for the Niagara River Lions, those Canadian players have played such an important role on this team in getting them going. And so I think that's an asset for this league and not something that's
it's funny. When we looked at our players, we held our Canadians to different standards than our Americans. Typically, it's the Americans have to be the best players. They got to be the best players. Or your foreign players. We felt it was more important that your Canadians competed. We did not want one Canadian that just sat on the bench because he was Canadian. We thought that was a bad look. And quite frankly, there were times my first year where we started 4 Canadians, 5 Canadians. We were not afraid to play our Canadians, not because we were trying to prove a point. They were that good. We went out and found really good Canadians. And you know what? Our teams weren't bad the first couple of years I coached there. In spite of me not being a great coach, they were still really pretty darn good. And I think the Canadian content helps them.
It will only grow by the looks of it. You look at a guy joining into the game right now, Greg Carter, 2-time CIS Defensive Player of the Year. And he's definitely found a home here in Niagara on this team. We've seen his defense has been absolutely outstanding all season. You look at a guy just like Carter, and I think that really shows just how well the CIS is producing players as well. Like we talked about, they don't always get drafted, but they definitely make an impact here in this league as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Springer-Williams was a good CIS player. There's Warren Ward that plays for London, was a heck of a player at Ottawa, and the young man Terry Thomas at PEI was a wonderful player at Ottawa and St. FX, and you can just keep going down the line. There's a new player, Ryan Smith with Moncton, who played at University of New Brunswick, and he's really popular there, and he's had an impact. So absolutely, there's a lot of Canadians coming from the CIS that are having an impact in our league.
How do the players who play out east, how do they like playing in those beautiful provinces of Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick? Some of those guys who might not have been there otherwise.
It's a lot more beautiful. Now that I'm the commissioner, I can tell you it's a lot more beautiful in the summer than it is this time of the year. But you know what? If they embrace where they're at, if they don't say, boy, I wish it was warmer, if they embrace the size of the community, the way these teams come out, let me tell you something, the fans all over this country, they live for these guys. They're putting posters up in their bedrooms of these guys. They're inviting them out to their homes and treating them like they love them. And you know what? What more can you ask for? What a cool place to play basketball.
Now, do you think that has to do with because technically the NBL of Canada is really the only professional league out there, and do you think they've done really a great job at, like we said here in Niagara, reaching out to the community and really getting the name out there?
Well, absolutely. There's good local owners. You look at a market like Charlottetown, PEI. The whole island is 104,000 people. Yet he's averaging almost 2,000 fans a game, and in a venue that seats 4. So all of a sudden you're going, wow, this really feels packed. Every game in Charlottetown, there's going to be bouncy castles, bouncy houses up, and the young people are come in and they have a ton of fun. And before the first game, they deflate them. I mean, the first tip off, and he's just made it a real family environment that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Just checking back in on the score. The River Lions now leading 72-64. Just under 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. A deep 3 there by Tony Bennett. He drops that one. And
I can't tell you how much I hate Tony Bennett. That kid broke my heart last year when we were playing in Brampton and we had a 3-1 lead. I didn't have a good solution for that kid at all. He's awfully good.
He's one of those players that can really be a threat from all over the court, but I feel like I can say that about so many guys in this league. And you just talked about the competition in this league. I can't recall off memory really a blowout so far this season. It's been so close. Every game could really be a coin flip.
I think the most has been a 16-point game, which is really, last year that happened quite a bit because there were a couple teams that were really at the bottom. But even the teams that aren't winning, I mean, like you said, Niagara is 2-9, but have they, how many double-digit losses have they had? Not many.
Exactly, and you look at them, 5 of their first 6 games were one-possession games, so they've all been really close games that, like I said, it's really a coin flip. You look at the first home game here against London, that could have gone either way. Their last win here against Windsor was also a very close game right to the very end. This one's shaping up to look much the same as well. It's just a 3-point game now.
And it's funny. I like watching the coaches. Sometimes having a guy that's a little bit more seniored, like a guy like Ken, he doesn't get overly anxious. I heard him raise his voice early today, which was the first time I've heard him even raise his voice. And the young men like that. They like his feel, they like his touch, they like his demeanor, because they know that it's not the end of the world if you miss a shot. And it's important sometimes not to get overly anxious and pull guys out for every mistake and let them play through it. But I'm certain Ken would admit that it's an adjustment to the program. I remember when I first came to coach, I was used to playing a 32-minute high school game. We got up on London in an exhibition game by double digits in the first quarter. Heck, I was ready to cut the nets down, and we lost by 15. And my assistant coach is going, Coach, we got 30 more minutes to go, or 36 more minutes to go. You need to relax some. And I'm going, golly, I didn't realize how long these games could be.
They definitely stretch it out. Speaking of this one, 2:14 to go now here in the third quarter. Your Niagara River Lions leading the Windsor Express 72-69. Being joined here by the NBL of Canada Commissioner David Magway. Thank you once again for joining us here on commentary here for the third quarter. It's been a pleasure having you.
I'm loving this. Thanks for not kicking me out yet.
You're welcome here anytime as Logan Stutz drives to the net. He's fumbled there and he's called for a travel. Doesn't like that call. And you talked about the Canadian content right there. Greg Carter's out there, and Mike Allison and Clinton Springer-Williams. So 3 out of the 5 players on the floor are Canadians now.
Well, and then you've got Shaquille Keith over there on the other side for Windsor. So you've got 4 of the 6 are Canadians, which is not bad.
Definitely the Canadian product of basketball. I think it's something that really a lot of people overlook. But if you look at this level as well as up in the NBA, like Anthony Bennett, Andrew Wiggins, so many great Canadians coming up, and Kelly Olynyk as well. But people seem to think, there's only 2 or 3 Canadians in the NBA. They must just be one-offs. But I think this league completely proves that otherwise.
Well, and the thing people have to realize, the second most content for outside of the U.S. in the NBA is Canadian, and these are not end of the benchers. Tristan Thompson's a heck of a player. The Stauskas kid is having a great year in Philadelphia, and obviously Wiggins is going to be a superstar for a long time to come. And I'm going to tell you what, Jamal Murray is going to be a heck of a pro. The kid that's at Kentucky, and he knows how to play. And there's just a lot of talented kids. Having the A's in our league, we're able to see some of the high school kids coming through their Orangeville Prep and their Athlete Institute program. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of talent coming through this country right now. And it starts at the grassroots level, and the job that Canada basketball has done has been great. And I know we're all pulling for them to get to the Olympics because I think they can make a dent. But if they do, I just numbers.
Drop, resets the shot clock out to Carter for 3.
Offensive and defense showing there by Greg Carter. Not only getting the 3, but intercepting the pass, leading to almost another 2, but he'll go to the line and shoot 2 from here.
Carter 1 for 2 on the season from the charity stripe. 1 for 3. That one took an odd bounce off the rim. Second shot for Carter. The River Lions now with a 79-75 lead. Another tightly contested game here at the Windsor Express. Working it around, Brandon Robertson passes it off to the top as that one goes back around for Moss. Rebound collected by the Express, back up to 3-point range, and that one dropped once again to make this a 1-point game. Brandon Robinson, he's definitely a difference maker. Carter to Sutherland. Sutherland to Stutz. He's got Blazek to his right. Hands it off to him. Blazek some nice handles, drives to the net, passes it off to Cook. Can't keep the handle, and that one will be Windsor possession as it went off a Niagara body. Cooper on the inbound, passes it off to Moss. 10-17 to go here in the fourth and potentially final quarter. You never know, we could get overtime, especially with the way this game's been going. 79-78, 10-15 remaining in the fourth. Shaquille Keith to inbound it. Product of Brampton, Ontario. You got to take a look. Pass it off to Paul Cooper. Keith drives the net, puts it up, hits the bottom of the rim, can't get it to go, but he will shoot for two. Keith so far on this season, shooting just over 60% from the charity stripe. 79-78, Quentin Springer Williams draws back into this contest. First shot for Keith is good. Keith's second. That one also good. The Express have their first lead of the fourth quarter. Logan Stutz passes it off to Adam Blazek. Blazek being watched closely by his defender. That's Williams Jr. Puts the shot up, can't get it to go. Brendan Robinson back now the other way.
We talked about it earlier in this game, and the River Lions have done a good job of putting points up on the board in the last couple of games, but there's always been one or two runs that really lets the opposing team get away and take the lead from the team permanently. And so here, the Express have taken that 80-79 lead with 9.5 minutes left. It's going to be important for the River Lions to maintain their punches and really get their offense back on track.
See Greg Carter passes it off to Stutz. Stutz driving to the net. Whistle goes there, and foul is called. It's interesting to see a lot of key minutes here for Greg Carter late in the game. Not something we've seen a whole lot from Coach Ken Murray this season, but Carter definitely doing well with him. We've seen already a steal here in this quarter. He had a three-pointer plus a free throw to go with it.
You know, we know that Greg does not provide the same offense that other guys on the team does, but this team has not struggled to score points, so it allows him to put his colleagues in position to score. Just like that, finding Logan Stutz for that wide-open three-pointer.
Another assist for Greg Carter. Now it's an 82-80 game for the River Lions.
And that's Logan Stutz' second three for the game, shooting 2 for 5.
Stutz is fine. Windsor doing a much better job in this game than previous matchups of not allowing really the open three for Niagara. Sure, there's been a couple of really good looks, but for the most part, they've been very contested, as we see DeQuan Cook.
Clinton Springer trying to do everything on the floor. They're trying to grab that rebound from DeQuan Cook.
The last thing you want to do is battle your teammates for it, especially a guy like DeQuan Cook as he drives to the net, puts it up, and that's exactly why he's one tough customer.
DeQuan Cook really provides that important, strong, big inside presence for the River Lions. They do have a lot of great forwards, but DeQuan Cook is really the only one that provides really that strong, weighted inside presence.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. A very strong presence. He doesn't back down in the post at all, and that's definitely key. You don't want a team that may look soft in the post, and with a guy like Cook, not only does he get done in the post, but he's also a great three-point shooter when he does take them. He doesn't do it very often, but when he gets an open look, he'll hit it most times. The three by Springer Williams drops.
Clayton Springer Williams can't miss from three, now 8 for 11 tonight.
Greg Carter watching his man, that's Tony Bennett. Passes it up, back up top. Robinson for three, and he answers right back. So it seems to be a three-point shootout between Springer, Williams, and Robinson at this point as Blazek calls for a play. Communicating with Springer Williams down low. Blazek with his left hand now to his right, takes a look. He's got two on him, finds DeQuan Cook. Cook to the net, passes it off to Greg Carter. Over to Stutz, he's blocked, however, by Commons. Back the other way comes Robinson. Robinson drops it back. Nice inside pass. Adrian Moss just couldn't finish that one. Back the other way now comes Adam Blazek.
Adam Blazek's fourth rebound. He rebounds so well for a guard on this team.
That's one of the things you really have to look at. He's only 6'1", but we've seen a couple of games where he gets into double digits now for rebounds. Definitely a competitor down low. Cook to the line for the first time tonight.
Only one turnover for the River Lions so far in this fourth quarter. And and we're seeing them be rewarded for it here, really sticking with this game.
First one goes off the base of the iron and out. The score remains 87-86, 7:14 to go here in the fourth quarter from the Meridian Center. Second shot for Cook. He gets that one to go. 2-point lead now for the River Lions. Adrian Moss being watched closely by Adam Blazek. Pass down low. Commons. Being watched closely by Mike Allison. Puts it up over, but he's called for a travel. And there we see once again Mike Allison not backing down, really causing that travel. Being intimidating force underneath the rim. Blazek now, calling for some rotation. Passes it up to Cook. Marcus Lewis drawing back into the game for Niagara. Blazek with it. He passed it off to Lewis. Lewis for three. That one just short. Allison tried to find the rebound, almost falling out of bounds. There was Adrian Moss, but he finds his man Brendan Robinson off the court. He's got to battle off a couple of River Lions. Going through the net, but another block by Mike Allison. That's what he's been doing so well in this game. One of the many things he's been doing so well is down low, Quan Cook to Marcus Lewis. Allison underneath the net, goes for the shot, but he's fouled and he'll go to the line for two.
And great ball movement there by the River Lions. Marcus Lewis not forcing that shot up and finding Mike Allison, who'll go to the line to shoot two.
Allison makes the first shot. Shooting 81% coming into this game, and he shoots 100% on those two attempts. He's 2 for 3 on the evening now.
On Saturday night, we thought that Mike Allison couldn't get any better, going 7 for 7 from the field and only missing one of his 4 free throw attempts. And here he is tonight, shooting 6 for 7 from the field and a perfect 2 for 3 from the free throw line.
It's almost like he's trying to match himself, and he's had almost back-to-back identical games now. And we've talked about the defensive ability, and the offensive ability has been there as well, as Tony Bennett gets set to inbound.
We talked about the important role that Greg Carter plays for this team in allowing guys like Sami Zaglinski and Adam Blazek to rest and not have to defend the on-ball defense, play on-ball defense so often. And Mike Allison is playing that same role for Logan Stutz here.
You see Springer Williams puts that one up and one.
The Niagara River Lions bench is pumped. They're all up and so excited for their teammates on the floor here. You know, after a couple of tough losses for this team, it's so important to be able to see them really band together as a unit and really encourage each other, especially with Sami Zaglinski down and Billy Rush not with the team right now. So it's such an important opportunity that this team is really closely knit together right now.
And with having those two guys out, this is definitely a statement if they win this game to show that they can still win and they can still play all together even when they're missing two key pieces of the team.
They're missing two of their key aspects, and Logan Stutz hasn't played a ton of minutes tonight either. As we talked about the fatigue with him, he's definitely resting up. So Stutz, without a doubt, obviously not having the type of impact he usually would. We look at the leading scorer in the NBL of Canada, but everybody else is really starting to pick up their game. Look, Quentin Springer Williams having an absolutely fantastic game, 26 points. He's got a chance to make this a 3-point play.
You know, it's so important for this team that when on a night when, or in a league where every team makes the playoffs, nights like this or opportunities where maybe not all their starters are in the lineup really provides opportunities for guys on the bench, and it provides an opportunity for Coach Murray to really see what he's got on the bench and figure out what those pieces are and how to use them heading into the rest of the season.
And I think he has all the right pieces. They just have to figure out a way to win going in all 4 quarters. I think that's where they've struggled. And you guys actually talked about Logan Stutz not playing that many minutes and not, doing as well as we've seen, but he is second in points on the team with 17 points and 5 rebounds. So he is showing that even in limited minutes, he can still be an offensive threat.
It's so funny though, right? That's that quiet efficiency that we talk about all the time. You don't necessarily notice how impressive he is, and then you look down, bam, 17 points.
Well, and that's just it. Even on a night that we felt was an off night, he's still putting up 17, and there's still plenty of ball left to play. 5:52 to go. The River Lions leading the Windsor Express 92-86. Springer Williams. Can't complete the three-point play as the rebound's knocked loose. Mike Allison comes up with it. Right back to Springer Williams. Down low for DeQuan Cook. Pump fakes on his man. Outside to Blazek. Blazek pump fakes the three. Down low for Cook. Cook now to the net. Spins off his defender. Puts it up and gets that one to go. They couldn't get the three-point play, but they got the offensive board and two more.
And there's that defensive presence that offensive presence that you were talking about. DeQuan Cook just backing down his defender and doing a little nice spin move to get to.
Now an 8-point lead for the River Lions, their largest so far of the contest. That one's passed back to Commons. Commons drives to the net, puts that one up, can't get it to go. Blazek comes up with it, back to Mike Allison, right back to Blazek.
Such an important performance for the Niagara River Lions so far after a tough road trip to be able to come back at home and really provide this fan base here at home with an excellent product on the floor and a great chance to put themselves in a win. This is those last 5 minutes that we talked about, you know, when Coach Murray had talked about this team not being able to close games out and being in positions to win but not being able to finish them off. Here we are, 5 minutes left. The Niagara River Lions are up by 8 points. It's going to be important for them to close this one out.
And I think they're doing a really good job of not slowing down. They're not showing any signs that they, not that they want to give up the lead because they never do, but they're just showing signs that they're going to keep going all the way until the very last second.
That's right. They're not playing in a position where they're afraid to give up the lead. They're still continuing to push their offense and continuing to feed the guys that are hot, like Clinton Springer Williams here.
He makes both free throws, and I think that's really the key. Is you see a lot of teams, they'll lay back with the lead. They'll say, okay, we've got a big enough lead, come at us now. Not the River Lions. Their biggest lead of the game coming into this quarter was 6 points, and that was last quarter, as you see a 3-point there by Commons. And they just had a 10-point lead, now cut to 7. So without a doubt, they're definitely not afraid to keep their foot on the gas, and you got to think part of that also has to do with how well they've used their bench. Everybody seems to be a little bit fresher in this one. Blazek being watched closely by Keel Keith. Took on the inside, he posts up, takes down a defender with him. Looks like he is called for sure.
Timeout by the Windsor Express here.
So you got to think, if you're Windsor, what are you talking about in this timeout to try to claw back into this one? Like you're talking about the final 5 minutes.
All of a sudden, the Niagara River Lions are shooting 41% from three-point range. So you have to think they're going to try and drive those players right off the three-point line. You can't let Clinton Springer Williams keep shooting the way that he's shooting. An impressive 8 for 10, 80% from three-point range. You know, they have to be able to shut down those three-point shooting.
Yeah, I think a big part of their strategy is going to be how to shut down Clinton Springer Williams. Right now he's got 30 points, which is the season high from this year. So I think it's going to be how do we keep the ball out of his hands? Because yes, he's going 8 for 10 from the three-point line, but he's also taking shots and driving to the basket to make it to the free throw line. So he's doing all the right things.
This is Springer Williams, a guy coming into tonight's game. He was only averaging 8.2 points per game. Comes out with this one 30, almost a breakout game, if you will, as if the home opener wasn't enough for him. Hitting the last second three-pointer to win it. This one really a coming out party for him.
Yeah, he started off the season playing a lot more minutes, and I think he, fell into a bench role position, and you can see him starting to get into a groove here where he's coming off the bench with more enthusiasm and more fire.
Really providing a really important role for this team with Billy Rush out of the lineup tonight. Clinton Springer Williams all of a sudden becomes one of 2 shooting guards or small forwards for this team, and so really showing Coach Murray that he has a lot to contribute.
Tony Bennett comes up the floor, being watched by his opposite number 5, Adam Blazek. But Blazek picks up Keith. Over to Commons, being watched closely by Stutz. Now on the post now, back up top to Commons. Robinson being watched by Springer Williams. Quick pass to the other side. Tony Bennett for 3. Can't get that one to go. You see a bit of a scrum underneath the net there. 3:57 to go here in the fourth quarter. In for an exciting finish. The River Lions lead this one 96-89. Something we talked about the River Lions, they've averaged the most points against in the Central Division now, 107 so far this season, and just 89 now with under 4 minutes to go. Really a statement for them defensively.
And that's so important that the River Lions have consistently put up more than 100 points against so many teams in this league that they don't have trouble scoring. it's keeping their opponents under 100 points. It's been so difficult for them. And so here they are, despite turning the ball over 20 times, more than 20 times, not letting that hinder their defensive ability and really making sure that they are not letting their defense cost their game for them tonight.
Now we see under 4 minutes to go, trying to conserve the lead. Greg Carter once again comes into the game, the defensive presence, as he takes a pass from Mike Allison. Carter being watched by Bennett. Passes it down low, Stutz takes a look, he's battling man, he's blocked, goes back up top to Carter, straight to Springer Williams. Williams being watched by Comets, 5 to go on the shot clock, stops up, now he takes it, and he drops another bomb from long range.
Springer Williams with his 9th three-pointer of the game, and I don't think he can be stopped.
Comets comes back the other way with a 3 of his own, but yeah, Springer Williams definitely the hot hander now. It's almost like a video game for him at this point. He pump fakes one, now he drives to the net, stops up, puts up a short 2, and he can hit him from there too.
That's such a great move by Clint Springer Williams. You know, they know that he's so hot from the three-point line, but taking what the defense is giving him and getting himself in position for an easy basket.
Tony Bennett being watched closely by Greg Carter. Carter avoids the pick. That one goes out of bounds. River Lions leading 101-92, a 9-point lead, 2:49 to go here in the fourth quarter. The crowd here at the Meridian Center, they've been loud all night. It's a very entertaining crowd. We talked about the Giants. Logan Stutz head behind the net as the mascot Duncan is waving that one around. As the pass by the Express that goes up top to Mo Bolden. Bennett blows the tire. Puts it off the backboard to himself. Now he gets it, puts it up, but he's called forward travel. He doesn't like that call at all.
Great, that was a really important move by, that's one of those things that doesn't show up on the score sheet, but Greg Carter really almost fouled Tony Bennett from beyond the three-point line there and getting off his feet, but doing such a good job of controlling his body and not causing that foul.
Carter has it now, 2.5 to go in the fourth quarter. The River Lions leading by 9. Springer Williams in three-point range. He's made that his home. He steps back for 3, and he drops another one. He's got 36 on the afternoon. In the evening, rather.
10 for 12, Clint Springer Williams is.
30 points from beyond the arc.
It has to be some sort of record. 10 for 12 from three-point range.
It's not like they've all just been your average three-pointers. He's done them at the end of a shot clock. He's stepped back and taken them. He's hit the open shots, which is always key. Now with 2 minutes to go.
River Lions now shooting 45% from beyond the arc. Clint Springer Williams is 10 for 12. The only other two players with three-pointers are Logan Stutz, 2 for 5, and Adam Blazek, 1 for 2. Huge offensive night by Clint Springer Williams in front of the home crowd. He just looks so comfortable from beyond the arc here at the Meridian Center.
Sorry, go ahead, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say he does. He's just making all these shots with ease, and they are not easy shots. He's making these tough baskets, but they look so effortless to him.
Oh, without a doubt. And you know, this is a guy last year in London. He played a lot of minutes off the bench, and I guess he didn't really fit in there as well. You look at his offensive production here, and it's a lot higher as Blazek gets another free throw to extend this lead now to 14 for the River Lions. And look, he couldn't really ever find his groove in London. Now he came here, and he's had really a great offensive season.
Mike Allison with another rebound there. It's his 9th of the night. One shy of a double-double here with 14 points.
Allison Blazek pulls some nice moves on his defender up to Greg Carter. Carter's got a battle for the ball. He does with Moss. Moss puts it up from half court anyways, doesn't get it to go.
Windsor Express looking for a shooting foul there, but I don't think they're going to get it.
Doesn't look like it, as with 1:37 to go here, the Niagara River Lions have really pulled ahead, now up 106-92.
And you know, the Niagara River Lions scored 40 points against the Windsor Express in the fourth quarter on Saturday night, despite losing that game. Here they are with 31 already, a minute and a half left. And we talked about those final 5 minutes being so important, and they're really outscoring the Windsor Express here. Coming into this fourth quarter, the game score was tied, 75-75. Here the River Lions have a 14-point lead.
Moss to shoot from the line. Bonus now in effect for both of these teams. 7 fouls each in the quarter. Second shot for Moss. He gets that one to go as well. Stutz inbounds it. Full court press now being applied by the Express. Springer Williams. He takes a look over to Allison. Back to Springer Williams. He's in 3-point range. Being double teamed as he throws it off the defender and out of bounds. Smart play there by Springer Williams as well. We talked about his offensive output. Really, his basketball IQ has really come to show as well. Springer Williams takes a look. Off to Stutz. Stutz over to Carter. Carter pulls a nice move going to the net, just loses the handle. Back to Springer Williams. He dribbles that one, missed dribbles. Over to Blazek for 3. And he gets that one to go in there. Fans here in the Lions Den are absolutely fired up. 109-94. 1 minute to go in the fourth quarter. Bennett driving the net. He can't get there. See, Bennett will go to the line for 2. 59.4 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. The River Lions up 109-94 on what has been a very exciting game, but the River Lions really pulling ahead here in the fourth quarter. First shot for Bennett is good. He'll take his second.
You know, like we talked about earlier in the broadcast, the River Lions entered this game 3-9 on the season, last place in the Central Division, but 2-2 at home, and so really showing this crowd that they can really compete on this home floor, and it's such a different ball game story between tonight and Saturday night in Windsor. This team really came alive here at the Meridian Center.
Quick passing there. Bennett for 3, takes that one, can't get it to go. Springer Williams with a rebound. He protects that ball. 13-second difference in the shot clock and the game clock as the fans here at the Meridian Center. The Lions then acknowledge their team. Springer Williams is just going to kill the clock off here. Second to go in the shot clock. You see the shot clock violation. Obviously an intentional one there by Springer Williams. 13.3 to go now in the game. Niagara River Lions are going to take this one over the Windsor Express. See an easy layup there by Moss. Springer Williams just hesitates to inbound, and then the Niagara River Lions take this one over the Windsor.